Welcome to the Lightspeed Investing Podcast. I've got a special episode for all of you listening and watching out there. First and foremost, if you are not aware of who I am, my name is Philip J. Hawk Chan, President and CEO of Lightspeed Investing, where we teach professionals and business owners how to take control of their financial destiny and become active investors through trading the futures and commodity financial markets the right way. And here I've got a video on a internal interview that we did with a client that was able to make over $1 million in less than 120 days, which is right around 6 weeks. Now, this is fairly a foreign language to you in terms of the charts that you see, but don't worry, I will break that down here for you guys a whole lot more as we get into the video. But I just wanted to show you first and foremost, because talk is cheap, the proof. So this is the Fidelity account of my client named Charles. As I mentioned, he took his account from, so first and foremost, he's a fellow business owner. He started with nothing. About maybe 5K. He's in his 50s, took that 5K to 100K. And then in his Fidelity IRA account, he had about 76K in there. He took that 76K to 900K in 5 weeks. And by week number 6, that account hit 1.212 million. He's currently averaging about $1 million a month right now. And if you look at the length of this video, it's a little bit over an hour, about an hour and like 15-ish minutes, an hour and 11 minutes, where we did an internal interview asking him to break down his specific strategies on utilizing just trends, tracking the futures and commodity financial markets with just our trend strategy. Okay, so this is the proof. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually show you guys these charts that makes the money actually possible. All right, this may be foreign language to you now, but I promise you, once we go into it a little bit more, you will see this just no different than how you would see your x-rays, your MRI scans, and your CT scans if you are a fellow physician, right? This game is all based on pattern recognition. And by the way, I actually brought in a air pilot recently, and within 3 weeks, he's already making over 20K doing this. Air pilots, they have a lot of checklists that they are used to verifying as part of their training before takeoff, and I mean, he's killing it. He's doing really well. But Charles is definitely one of our exceptional clients who took this really seriously, and he's seeing serious results. So what makes the futures and commodity financial markets so unique is the fact that you can not only can you make money when the markets go up, down, or sideways. It is very lucrative to make money when the markets go down. Because if you look here at these red candles, right? Like look at all these green candles. Like most people, right, when they think about stocks and equities, which is on the traditional side of investing, usually speaking, you're thinking you can only make money when the markets go up. Not here, okay? This is technical analysis within the futures and commodity space, which is alternative assets. And so if you look at the red candles, right, usually speaking, what happens is when the markets go down, they tend to go down 67% faster than when it goes up. And when you have specialist knowledge and you know that within certain brokerages, you can hit the sell button, right? So that means that when the markets are falling, you can actually be in profit. That's a huge game changer, because back in 2008, when the housing bubble popped and everyone was feeling the pain, if you were, if you were shareholders in certain stocks and companies, futures and commodity traders are in profit. And that's why we are impervious to any economic cycles and market collapses, because you can actually make money when the markets go down. And look at how fast, just look at how fast and intense the markets go down here, right? Like look at these little green candles, right? Look at these little green candles. But when the markets fall, look at this slope right here and how deep this slope is, especially when you go down, right? I mean, it's like those elevator drops when you attend amusement parks, at like Universal Studio or Six Flags, right? Where you're sitting up at the very top and all of a sudden it just falls on you. So if you know how to time shorting opportunities well, this is incredible. Now, this is another way for you to catch a trend as well, right? So you can catch trends, which is mainly what Charles is doing, going up or going down, right? You really want to try to avoid these middle choppy markets. This is what we call consolidation, right? Especially when it just kind of wiggles and it's not really going anywhere. Like this little inverted V here. You could make money going up and then back down. So it's a little bit more prominent. But when you get into these situations where it kind of wiggles a little bit more and it's like very indecisive, like right here, for example, it's not really doing much. You really want to try to avoid these, right? Now, if I go into, because this video is about an hour and 15 minutes long. Um, if I go into the breakdown here at the beginning, right, what you see is how Charles, he actually, on one of his trades, he only risked, if you look here, I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this better. Okay, like he risked $260 in order to make almost $4,000. And that's in the span of average trade time, 5 minutes. 5 minutes, right? And I mean, this is obviously a more comprehensive report on some of the things that he was doing, but this is just a glimpse of, this is another trade right here, right? So, I mean, this is also what's nice about the platforms that we recommend you to utilize is the fact that they actually have analysis embedded in these this platform, so that you can learn exactly how you're performing and what to watch for. Now let's talk about these charts for a little bit. So this realm, right, is technical analysis. So unlike fundamental analysis, right, this is not your typical day trading. Like Warren Buffett, he reads a lot. He reads between 5 to 8 hours every single day. That's because according to fundamental analysis, where you're investing in stocks or ETFs, you definitely need to do your due diligence. You need to do your research on who the CEO is, what the company is, what the quarterly earnings are, and where you think that stock will essentially elevate, and you're predicting and you're speculating where it's going to go, right? Fundamental analysis involves a lot of moving pieces. There's definitely economic theory, understanding of micro markets, macro markets, microeconomics, macroeconomics, and that's all very important. But you're more so doing investing based, what we call value based investing, right? Value based investing in companies, stocks as a shareholder. Here, this is technical analysis, which means that everything that you need to essentially become successful within this realm is just right there in front of you. Now, what I mean by that is very similar to diagnosing X-ray, CT scans, and MRI scans. There's about 5 to 7 factors that you want to watch for. And if you can diagnose these charts here correctly, when essentially those 5 to 7 factors are in confluence, in unison, in alignment with each other, and you then place your entries and exits, you're bound to make money. So the idea here is, well, how do you actually convert these markets into your own ATM machine? Because here's the thing about being an active investor, similar to getting your MD, your engineering degree, your sales role plays, any skill set that you're building within business. The unique thing about this is you can essentially make money for the rest of your life, because the better you get at this skill set, first and foremost, your aim is to convert these markets into your own ATM machine. And the better you get at that ATM machine, then the more you can convert it and evolve it into being your own bank. That's basically what Charles did. Now, for a professional who may not always have the time, and you're thinking, oh, okay, well, I am too busy. This is not a game that requires 5 to 8 hours in front of the screens. This is half an hour to an hour and a half. You're looking for precise locations. You're really being a sniper, a panther in how you approach these markets. And only when you see something that makes sense do you enter the trade. you're going to see there's all these numbers here on the very right. Some of the strategies that I talked about, we teach, is you want to make sure that you're observing specific algorithm numbers, because when the markets hit these algorithm numbers, they bounce off of support and resistance lines every single time. Like it gets quite predictable. You just got to know what you're looking for, right? So there's about 5 algorithm numbers that we watch for. Alongside that, there are specific candlestick patterns that we watch for as well. And so, like for example, this is what we call a hammer. A hammer going into a a long trend, where at the top of these trends, right, you see a shooting star, and it's going to fall back down, right? Again, you kind of see these oscillating movements. That's also what these markets are. It's an intermittent oscillator, so it kind of wiggles. It has these cycles, and then, like for example, here you see that, okay, once there's been a little bit of consolidation, bam, it breaks out, right? It breaks out, and then it kind of retraces. It goes back up. It's pretty beautiful, right? It goes up and then kind of comes back down. It's like riding a horse, you know, but it's but you can actually make money off of this horse, right? This is a wealth creation vehicle that no one ever has taught you about in life. And so if you do your due diligence and research, you find that on Forbes, not only are the world's 42% do they reside in the finance and investment space, but a lot of them have futures and commodities involved in their portfolio as well. So success leaves clues, right? There's a gentleman by the name of John Arnold who took 1.5 million to 1.5 billion in 2.5 years, trading the commodity natural gas the right way. And he's not the only billionaire that has made it within this space as well. There's another gentleman named James Simmons. He's the father and pioneer of automated software trading. He was able to amass about $30 billion in the span of 15, 16 years. And he didn't even get started in his late 60s. Other notable names, of course, include Stephen Schofield, Stephen Cohen, and Ken Griffin of Citadel, a very, very, very prominent hedge fund in today's contemporary investment space. But the idea here is, yes, even though futures and commodities is normally regarded as the most risky and volatile asset class because of how it oscillates and how it moves, most people shy away from it because they simply do not know what they're doing. But if you have proper understanding of the industry, you've been around it, you have people who can guide you because they've been ahead in this game, then that conversation is totally different, as you can see with Charles. And if you want to be the next person who can emulate what Charles did, feel free to first and foremost learn at zero obligation. We host monthly events for physicians just like yourself, as well as professionals who may not have the time during the day to learn these things. So we host these monthly events at night where we essentially do a 1 hour masterclass. It's actually led by Brandon. He's my right hand. He's a 26-year-old who we helped retire from a 6-figure engineering job just last summer. So Brandon will be hosting those sessions. Feel free to join those monthly investing masterclasses. See how you like the approach. See how you like this style of investing. Understand it a little bit more. And if it's something that you want to seriously get involved, we can have a deeper conversation. But make sure you secure your seats on the link below. And I look forward to speaking with you guys and seeing you guys on the masterclass. It's been a pleasure. Again, my name is Philip J. Hawk Chan, and let's talk soon. Thanks so much.